tonight. In the meantime, I've got Brad Woodhouse here, former DNC Communications Director, David Drucker, Washington Examiner, the senior correspondent there, and last but not least, Hadley Heath Manning, Independent Women's Forum. And I want to focus a little bit, if you guys don't mind, on Bill Clinton and causing a little bit of a dust-up over comments he made about the Affordable Care Act. I think we have those queued up if we can hear what he said that caused a lot of problems, maybe for Hillary Clinton. Listen to this.
The people that are getting killed in this deal are small business people and individuals who make just a little too much to get any of these subsidies. Why? Because they're not organized, they don't have any bargaining power with insurance companies, and they're getting whacked. So you've got this crazy system where all of a sudden 25 million more people have health care, and then the people are out there busting it sometimes 60 hours a week, wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Now, we waited to see if he said something good about the health care law, but he was really talking about the frustration. David, you heard that out there. He tried to dial it back later in the day to say that he was not damning the thing, but he wasn't exactly praising it.
No, he wasn't. And Obamacare is having a lot of problems right now, and it's surprising in some ways that it's not a bigger issue on the campaign trail. But I think the reason for that is Donald Trump has never made health care a major policy issue. He doesn't have a very well-defined replacement for the Affordable Care Act, if he could ever repeal it. He talks about repealing and replacing it, but what we know from studying this since Obamacare was litigated and passed and gone into effect is that voters don't like it all that much, but they don't like what came before it. So when Republicans talk about repealing and replacing it, but they don't talk about what they would do to actually make the system finally work, not just from Obamacare, but from its predecessor, it doesn't do Republicans any good. And if you don't, in a presidential election, if you don't take an issue and drive it from day one and make it a regular part of your stump speech, you can't just show up when there's a problem later and say, it's horrible, I'll fix it, and have voters actually gravitate towards you because of that.
Yeah, and Hadley, another issue that's come up is the Republican plan. By and large, Donald Trump's plan has been, all right, we're going to junk this thing and kind of start from scratch. But with millions signed on, even though, to Bill Clinton's point, tens of millions are paying a lot higher insurance premiums as a result, you're well along in this process, right? So how do they advocate for those who are paying so much for something they weren't paying nearly as much for before this came into being?
Right. Well, I'm going to agree with Bill Clinton. I think he offers a pretty accurate summary of what's going on with Obamacare. But it's going to be important for Republicans, including Donald Trump, to point out that as flawed as Obamacare is, Hillary Clinton's proposed solution to add a so-called public option to Obamacare just doubles down on the bad ideas that basically the bad idea that government should be in charge of health care and health insurance. So the bottom line here is Republicans have to offer a better vision forward for health reform, but they also have to point out that we could be at risk of learning the wrong lesson here.
You know, I talked to one Republican strategist, Brad Woodhouse, who was saying something to the effect, speaking politically, that it's very good for Democrats, the millions who have signed up and gotten health care that they didn't have before, but they're guaranteed mostly Democratic voters. I think that was the gist of what he was saying. In the meantime, though, they have to wrestle with the fact that there are tens of millions or more who have seen dramatic spikes in their premiums and are not going to be happy campers. How does that sort out to you?
Well, look, I think you're probably right about some of the politics. I mean, what I would say is that to your previous guest comment, that I think this is why Hillary Clinton has proposed the public option. I mean, one of the things the public option would do is inject more competition into the process. Insurance companies would have
fair competition.
No, it's time out. It is fair competition. If they can't compete with the government, remember the best health care system in the world is Medicare. The best health care system in the world. Hold on a second. The best health care. The most efficient healthcare system in the world is Medicare, and if private insurance can't compete with Medicare, seniors are happy with Medicare. They're happy with the fixes that the Obamacare made to Medicare. So why not have the insurance companies compete with
you raise a good point.
And if they can't compete,
David, wasn't that the idea?
No one will get in it.
Fine. But the idea behind this was to foster competition, to keep premiums down. But we've seen them rocket. So what's to stop people from saying, fool me once, don't fool me twice?
Right. So everybody knows Obamacare is going to need. Everybody knows Obamacare needs to be fixed. That's what Bill Clinton said. Democrats know that it needs to be fixed. But as a political matter, let's take a look at the discussion we've just had. On the conservative side of the ledger, the argument is we need to offer something better. We need to explain how we're going to fix it. Brad was just talking about the fact that Hillary Clinton has a public option. Now, there are all sorts of policy problems with the public option, and maybe the public won't like the public option, but he had an answer. And it's not her fault. It's the idea that the Republican campaign hasn't come up with a good answer. House Republicans have come up with something lately, finally. But they're not the ones on the ballot running for president. And that's the problem the Republicans face in terms of trying, A, to fix the system, get voter support, and win an election in part based on that.
Unless you pounce, again, Hadley, on the frustration out there. People might not be in a... They want to hear how you're going to fix it, but all they know right now is they're paying through the nose for it. Now, will that make them more leery of big government initiatives and give pause when it comes to Hillary Clinton? Or are we all caught up in all these other issues that seem to get a lot more traction, talking about someone's taxes, talking about her emails? In other words, this stuff just gets sort of cast aside.
That's right. We should be focused more on the issues in this electoral cycle, and we should be focused on the issue of health care, because we know most Americans are dissatisfied with what they've seen from Obamacare. It's been a bundle of broken promises. It's left a lot of people with canceled plans, broken relationships with their doctors, higher prices, higher deductibles. So yes, we do have to solve the problem, and House Republicans, along with conservatives, for years have offered various different proposals that basically have the same principles in mind. The details may differ, but they want to unlink employment and health insurance, offer universal tax credits and deductions for health insurance, rein in government spending, rein in the government's role in health insurance, bolster competition in the private sector. When you have government competing, we've got to be wary of this public option, because ultimately it would become the only option for people. That's not the healthcare system we need in America.
All right, we'll watch closely, guys. I want to thank you for that.